Hi, so I'm Louise. I am a master's student at Dalarna University and I arrived here in Borlänge 1 week ago. So I thought I'd just make a quick video to tell you how my expectations that I had beforehand have compared to the reality of being here. So I knew that the population of Borlänge was quite low, so I was expecting it to be really quite small here, maybe quite a big lack of shops. But Borlänge to me actually feels a lot bigger than I thought it would. I think it's because everything's quite spread out, but there's honestly so much here in terms of shops, grocery stores, clothing stores, and there's quite a big town centre with a number of restaurants and bars which I'm excited to check out. My expectations on the accommodation were based on my experience of university accommodation back in England, and the rooms were always absolutely tiny and it just wasn't kept in very good condition. My accommodation has actually really exceeded expectations. My room, you can just see it in the background, is really big, as is the entire flat, and I know that if we have any problems we can just go and see the owner, so that's not a problem either. I thought the university would be relatively big because I knew they offered quite a number of subjects. I thought it would be maybe a number of buildings scattered around the town. So it's actually a lot smaller than I thought it would be. It's just one main building where all the lectures are held. But that actually works out really well because you see people you recognise all the time, but there's still a big enough library and enough seating areas for everyone. I got an email about the different student activities being offered in the first 2 weeks of term, so I thought it'd be quite busy, but I wasn't too sure on what would be really going on. It seemed to be that there were lots of sport activities, which I knew weren't really my thing, so I wasn't too sure how much I'd get involved. Unfortunately, I've been feeling a bit unwell, so I've just been taking things slow and getting to know my flatmates and some of the individuals in the same accommodation as myself. But I've had a number of good nights in at Locus, which is one of the other student halls situated across the road from Student House 23 where I am at. Seems to be a real hub of activity in the evenings, and so if you're not someone who necessarily wants to get involved in the really organised activities that they've been putting on, I know they've been doing things like the heptathlon and soap soccer, there's always other options, which is really good from my point of view. Food was definitely something I did a lot of research into before I came here. I was anticipating lots of fish and lots of cheese, and I wasn't too sure how I'd get on in terms of reading the packaging. Going food shopping has actually been really fun. Even though things are written in a different language, you can still work out what they are, and it's been really interesting to look at all the different ingredients which I don't recognise from home. So those were the main things that I thought about before attending Dalarna University, and 1 week in and things are going pretty well. I'll be making a series of videos going into each of those topics I mentioned in a greater level of detail once I've had more of a chance to settle in. Bye!